All right, what's up, fellas? Let's hit it. Wake Up Mintzy, Thursday afternoon, drinking some Stella Blue, got the dude wipes. A huge weekend of football ahead, all kinds of fun stuff going on at the Barstool office, as always, and fired up to be with you guys today. As always, fire away on the chat. We're going to go, Moody and I'm going to be joined here in a second by Tyler Moody. We're going to go through all these picks, but I'm going to start this off the top with all this just coaching rumor madness that's going on. It's the wildest chessboard I've ever seen as a college football fan, and I'm 42, with all the jobs that are open with LSU and Auburn and Florida and Arkansas and Penn State. And Oxford's just going crazy about this Lane Kiffin stuff right now. And, is he going to go to Florida or is he going to stay at Ole Miss? It's kind of one of those things where my honest read on it right now is he doesn't know. I know Florida's coming in with heavy offers. I mean, a lot of people think it's his dream job. So I know he's considering it. I'm not going to sit here and say I know the answer because I think Lane doesn't know the answer. I think he's changing his mind every day is my read on the situation. But what a zoo this is when you got a one-loss playoff team hosting Florida where he may be going this weekend on Saturday night in Oxford. The whole thing is just crazy. It's crazy as hell. But certainly following it close. I've literally been following it almost like hour by hour the last couple of weeks. But my current read on it is just that he doesn't know. And I know Florida's not playing around. They're offering him, it's a huge offer. They're after him. He's their number one guy. He always has been since they fired Napier. And I'm not worried about the LSU job for Lane. I think it's Florida or nothing. I know that we talked about, he could go to the Giants or Dolphins, but I think it's, is he going to stay at Oxford or is he going to go to Gainesville? And, of course, the timing of this, you're having, your best season ever, 9-1 for the first time since 1963. It's crazy as hell out there, Tyler Moody, but how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, brother. Things are very good on this side. Scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you that Lane is on his way out of Oxford?
I was about a 4 or 5 for a while, and now I'm up to, I wouldn't say quite an 8, but I'd say 7 or 7.5. I'm pretty damn worried.
Yeah.
I'm
think it's
definitely.
Florida. You think it's Florida or nowhere else though?
I think it's Florida or nowhere else. I think LSU's situation right now with the governor getting involved in this Kelly lawsuit, with this buyout, I don't think they can afford him. And I think Florida can come in and pay him, might make him the highest paid coach in college football. And, he has ties to Gainesville and Florida, and he loves Spurrier. And, I think it's Florida or nothing. It's my read.
I would agree with you on that. What's up, chat? See you boys out there with City, Zach Holtz. What's up, boys? Anything y'all got in the chat today? Fire away. We've got a lot of football to talk
Oh,
about.
we do. But this Lane stuff's just all week, dude. I'm just getting so many texts and updates.
And it's not going to stop for a while either.
No, but the whole thing is just like the situation Ole Miss is in. You're got a shot to host a playoff game. You're having a historic season. But then if this drags out, like say Ole Miss loses first round of the playoffs or in the quarterfinals, everybody else is going to have already hired their coach by then. And so you're in a nightmare spot because you've got all these other jobs open. And this is the worst year to be looking for a coach because so many good jobs are open. So they're in Keith Carter's a terrible spot with this. And people are losing their minds right now in Oxford. It's getting real toxic already, because, you're having the best season you've ever had, and all everybody's talking about is Lane staying or going. And this is the Lane Kiffin experience, though. It is what it is, dude. You're dealing with like a movie star, and, he saw this in 2022 when he almost went to Auburn. And, it's kind of you just got to ride the roller coaster with highs and lows. I try not to take any of it personally. Obviously I'm an Ole Miss guy, but Lane's looking at it from a business perspective. But I just, he's you wish you could throw the fan on the flames of it, but right now it's just lightning lava hot. And, I'd be lying if I said I know it was going to happen, but I am very concerned.
And I think you certainly should be because, I don't know. Ole Miss is obviously an elite job, but there's just all the history with Florida, the great coaches that they've had. I think it's a big factor here, and the money. But do you think Ole Miss would match whatever money Florida's trying to throw at him?
Man, the numbers and all I'm hearing is hearsay stuff. But if the numbers I've heard from the Florida offer are true, I don't think Ole Miss can match what Florida's offering. I think Ole Miss can go up. Ole Miss is paying them 9 now. I think you can get it up to 12. But if Florida comes in and it's like you're the highest paid coach, which I think may be what's happening here, I don't know if Ole Miss is going to be able to match up to that. You're talking about highest paid coach in college football. I think Ole Miss can get him to top 5. But yeah, so I don't know. Definitely concerned, and it sucks because the season we're having, and now the turmoil this is going to throw it into. What do you do?
if Lane makes a run to the national championship, is there any possible way you could win a national championship and then leave? Like, do you think this is something that depends on how the season finishes up potentially?
Well, the whole thing with me is this reminds me of the A&M slosh deal when
Yeah.
A&M almost won the College World Series a couple of years ago, and he'd already agreed to go to Texas. And I'm not saying I already know Lane's agreed to go to Florida. I don't know that. I'm just speculating. But it just reminds me of that. Like, I mean, like Slosh, they lost in Game 3 of the national championship to Tennessee. He wouldn't have even been at the victory parade at A&M if they'd have won it. Like he'd already taken that Texas job before he even got to Omaha. And like I said, I don't know that Lane's already taken it. My read on it is just that he's thinking about it and he's very intrigued. And I mean, he's a Spurrier fan, and Florida's always been a job he's wanted. I get it; it's business, but I'll be damned if it's not really jumping in the line of fire on a all-time great historic season. I mean, Ole Miss is 9-1 for the first time since 1963. I mean, that's crazy. 62 years is a hell of a long time. It's 20 years longer than I've been alive. So yeah, this whole thing is nuts. But on the one side of it, and there's no positive to Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss if he leaves. I'm not going to sit here and this is the best Ole Miss has ever been. But if you do know he's going to leave, you'd rather know early. That's for sure. With all these jobs open, so I'm not saying that's a silver lining, but it would be better to know now than on January the 1st when all these jobs are filled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You obviously want to, at this point, if you're Ole Miss, you have to kind of cover everything. You have to have a plan B and a plan C. What's up, Bradley? What's up, Cade? We see you boys in the chat. Feel free to fire away. Mintzy right now worrying about Lane
Yes,
Kiffin
dude.
potentially leaving.
They're all worried. I'm definitely concerned. I have pretty way more concern than I was a week ago. I felt really good about it as of Saturday, and then all week the reports I've been getting this week have not made me feel good about it. We'll put it that way.
Doesn't sound good. I will say that. I will say that. All right, let's talk about this Thursday night football game. Jets, Patriots.
Yeah,
Jets. I mean,
DraftKings, by the way, don't forget. I know me and you aren't hockey guys, really, Moody, but they got their $250K first goal scorer promotion tonight. So opt in,
okay.
put $5 on a first goal scorer on the 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock games. The payouts have been really, really big on it, so don't forget to do that. So I have no idea on hockey, but I'm going to ask someone that knows something, and I'm going to put a $5 bet down. But you just can't miss these promotions, man, like King of the Court, King of the End Zone, the first goal scorer. They're doing a lot of cool things at DraftKings, so I want to mention that. All right, let's get to this Thursday night game. Got a lot of college football to touch on for Saturday and NFL Sunday. A bunch of stuff going on. Jets at Patriots. I mean, Jets off a win. I mean, it was ugly, but 27-17. They got their second win of the year over Cleveland, despite Justin Fields throwing for a whopping 54 yards. They're plus 12.
Shout out to their special teams.
Yeah, they're plus 12.5 tonight. Over under 43.5. New England's humming. 8-2. Huge win at Tampa. You talked about it on Monday. The breakout Trevion Henderson performance. 14 for 148 of the 2 on touchdown runs. When I look at this game, man, I kind of lean the under, to be honest, because New England's got the one thing the Jets do. Well, they don't do anything great on offense, but they do run the ball okay. New England's number one run D in the NFL. Vrabel's came in there. He fixed that defensive line. They're tough up front. They're number 25 against the pass. So if you attack New England, you got to do it through the air. Well, the Jets can't do it without Garrett Wilson. There's no way. So I don't see how the Jets are going to be able to score many points tonight. I just think New England's going to stack the run. And so that kind of makes me lean under. And I also think when you look at the Jets defense this year, they're number 8 against the pass, and they're like 26th against the run. The run defense is cratered this year. So I think we may be looking at another Trevion Henderson game here. I think we saw his breakout Sunday, and I think he might build on it.
Ramondre Stevenson out again. Terrell Jennings dealing with a knee. I don't know if he's going to play yet tonight or not. Trevion Henderson is going to pop off once again. I mean, I had him for 2 touchdowns last week. I think I'm going to take him for 2 touchdowns again tonight. His numbers certainly won't be as good. And I just do, like you said, I don't think the Jets have any kind of offense to keep up in this game. This feels like a 31-7 game. Like, I think this is one you could take the under and alt the Jets line. The Patriots line on this.
You think it's like a game script thing where, New England wins 31-10, something like that?
Yeah, I do. I think the Patriots are just going to be so far out ahead. I think the passing, like I would take Drake Mays under tonight potentially. I think they're going to ride Travion Henderson. I think they're going to run the ball a ton. I think that's
Yeah, well,
just
I can see that with the game script if they get up. The Jets' only hope is they got to score first and score early and muck it up. That's their only hope.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. So I love the Jets. I mean, the Patriots tonight. I'm probably going to I'm going to alt them up to like 21 or something. I think they run away in this game, and I think it's because of Travion Henderson. I think he's going to ball out. I think Brees Hall will be a factor in this game, catching the football, but I don't necessarily think he's going to have much on the ground. But certainly love Travion Henderson tonight.
Also tonight, the live premiere of the final of the Internet Invitational, 6 p.m. Eastern. It starts at 5, so make sure you check out that. The Internet Invitational's taking over the world. Dave Portnoy also has a parlay today. His little bonus bet. He's got this at 10-1. Drake May 3 touchdowns, Douglas 40 yards receiving, and Pats to win by 20+ at 10-1. It's the Dave Portnoy TNF same game parlay for this game. We'll put together a parlay tonight. DraftKings is a 30% boost on a 3-teamer tonight, 3-legger. I like the under with you, Moody. And I like the Travion Henderson. I'm not as gung-ho on the 12.5 just because that's so much in pro football, and it's a division game. I do see your logic, but I'm thinking about, maybe move the under down a little bit. Let's see, because I like this under. Thursday night games tend to get ugly too.
The last few primetime games have all gone under. They've been pretty ugly.
Yeah, I think so. Dude, last week, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, all way under, way ugly. And I can see this one being bad, too. So let me see. Game lines. All right, putting together our parlay for tonight. I'm going to move the over. It might be bold, but I'm going under 38.5 because I'm trying to juice this parlay. I'm going to go Travion Henderson. Dang, he's only plus 104 to go over 100 yards. That's not great.
He's going to go crazy tonight. I think Vegas has that set perfectly. I really do. I know it's not good odds, but I think he goes for over 100. I think he totes the rock 20+ times, and I think he's the factor tonight. I know Drake May's played great. I think he'll throw for a couple scores potentially, but I just think Travion Henderson is going to be the man tonight.
All right, so I'm looking for the pass yards over under. All right, I'm going to go. My God, my phone is blowing up with Ole Miss people. That's how worried people are about Lane. I've had three phone calls in the last 5 minutes. I've had to silence. Drake May under 234.5, under 38.5, and Travion over 100 rushing plus 750. Probably not the best.
What is throwing Travion touchdown or maybe 2 scores on there? His 2 touchdowns last week was 10-1. I got it at 10-1. It's plus 360 today, which is crazy.
Adding him to score a touchdown makes it 13-1. That's pretty good. Just one.
Yeah, I think he gets in the end zone in this game. He could break a long one. He can score around the goal line. I mean, I think he's the kind of back that can catch the football too. Like he will be a big factor tonight. I'm as sure in this as I have been nearly anything the entire season. And when I've been pretty sure about stuff, I haven't missed this year. I love Travion Henderson tonight.
All right, I'm going to go with this one. It's with the boost. It's 30% boost. It's plus 1690. Under 38.5. Travion touchdown. Travion 100 rushing. Under 234.5. Drake May passing. What do you think of that, Moody?
I love that. I'm going to ride that with you for sure. I might even throw Travion 2 touchdowns on mine.
Yeah, it's just because I like the under. I don't want to do 2.
Yeah, I hear you. I may juice it up a little bit with the Travion 2 scores.
All right, we're going to go. That's it. So plus 1690 with the 30% boost. That's our parlay for tonight. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be much of a game. All right, let's. Do you want to run through NFL or college first?
We can hit college first if you want, because Chadwick Moff was saying he needs a surefire college bet on Sunday. Needs one more game for his parlay boost. So give us what you got for college football.
All right, I'll run through it. Clemson at Louisville Friday night's interesting. Dude, Louisville, I really thought they had a chance to win the ACC after they won at Miami, and then you just lose at home as an 18-point favorite against Cal in overtime. I mean, how do you lose that game at home? And, apparently one of their fans thought the same thing because some guy from Texas, threatened the Louisville head coach and OC and, got charged with 6 counts of domestic terrorism threats to the coaching staff of Louisville after the game.
Hell yeah, that's when you know you love your team right there. That's doing anything to defend your honor. That's insane though, for sure.
That is insane. Hard one to predict. I think I'd lean Louisville, but I don't really know. Oregon minus 25.5 Friday night against Minnesota. I actually think Oregon covers. I just don't see how Minnesota scores more than 10 points. And Moody, you know this as well as anybody because you used to cover Oregon and live out there. Man, you don't want to mess with them when they're at home. And a home night game, that's a spot where they know how to. Oregon's program, they know how to run it up on people. They're really good at that.
Yeah, and things haven't been going great lately. As far as the offense is concerned, this feels like a get everything going, get a blowout. Dan Lanning not afraid to run it up on you either. So I think there's a pretty good chance Oregon covers in that game.
Yeah, I like Oregon in that one. Notre Dame at Pittsburgh's interesting, playing at Heinz Field Saturday. Pitt's number 22 now. They've had a freshman quarterback really step in and play well. I kind of like Pittsburgh plus 12.5 as a home dog here. I just think they've historically fight Notre Dame a lot. I mean, I don't know that they're going to win, but I like them plus 12.5 to fight. Pat Narduzzi, the Pittsburgh coach, with one of the wildest takes I've ever seen this week. They asked him if playing Notre Dame meant more, and he goes, "No, I don't care if we lose 110-3. It's not an ACC conference game." What a take. Like, I don't give a shit about playing Notre Dame. I'm worried about playing Boston College. Just what a take, dude. He was kind of just doing that to throw shade at Notre Dame for not being in a conference, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, it is showing how important the conference games are, but huge game for Pittsburgh either way. And like if you look back through the years, it feels like every couple years Pittsburgh has that one marquee win where you're like, damn, that's a good win for Pittsburgh. So I think I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I do think it'll be a close competition.
Yeah, I lean Pittsburgh plus 12.5 there. I think that's a lot of points. Indiana's going to murder Wisconsin. 28.5 is a lot, but I think they may cover. South Carolina at Texas A&M, 11 a.m. A&M's 19.5, 49.5. Look, I think South Carolina's done. And A&M's just been a war machine, dude. You got to give them credit. I mean, you go on the road, they were losing 18-14 at half at LSU. They come out and score 35 unanswered at Death Valley. And then off a bye week, they're 7-point favorite at Missouri, and they beat them 38-17. I mean, Missouri had a backup quarterback out there, but whatever. I mean, you come out, when you whoop ass on the road like that, back to back, that's super impressive to me. Like, that's the hardest thing to do. So I don't know if I'm laying 19.5, but I'm not taking South Carolina, dude. A&M's got it rolling. And South Carolina, I mean, it's just a total mess. They're one of the biggest busts in college football this year.
The only thing that would concern me is that maybe A&M's looking forward to Texas.
Yeah, but they got Samford next week.
Yeah, but I mean, still, there's a chance they've already overlooked this game. I'm not saying South Carolina wins this game by any means, but that's my only concern is that A&M's head's already down the road.
South Florida by 10 at Navy is very interesting because both these teams have one loss in the American Conference. Navy's quarterback sat out last week with an injury at Notre Dame, but they said he could have played if needed, but they just knew they weren't going to win. And they decided to save him for this week. Look, I'm looking at Navy plus 10 here, especially I'm going to check a weather report out, but like if it's cold and rainy in Maryland, that's not good for South Florida. And I think this spot, Navy's pulled upsets in this spot a lot historically. This is a tricky. Some home dogs here I like this week. The Pitt plus 12.5 and this Navy plus 10. I mean, Navy's got a shot in this game. And I think South Florida's good. I'm not saying they're not. This is a tricky one at Navy. It's kind of more my point, dealing with that triple option, that option. Arizona plus 6 at Cincinnati. Arizona's been pretty feisty this year. Noah Fifita is still a good quarterback. Kind of would lean them plus 6 if anything, even though I hate that cross country. It's a 9 a.m. start for Arizona out east in Cincinnati. Moody, Arkansas at LSU. Arkansas plus 6, over under 57.5. I kind of lean Arkansas may win this thing, Moody, because LSU, I mean, do you give them credit for any home field? 11:45 a.m. kickoff, what are there going to be, 40,000 people there? I mean, people are over it. Like, you're not going to have any kind of a Death Valley advantage here. And Arkansas LSU games are always real weird and wonky. And Arkansas is still going to be fired up to beat them. And as bad as this Arkansas season's gone, they still got Taylor Green, good running back in Washington, a lot of talent. Their defense sucks, but they fought all year. They really have, and I think they might get one here, Moody. I think plus 6.
The only thing that would I agree with everything you just said. It's just Arkansas's defense is so bad. My question is LSU handing the keys to Van Buren for this game?
I think Nuss is trying to go, but Van Buren's going to play. But I think they'd be better off just going to Van Buren and shutting Nuss down, man.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's time for LSU just to hand him the keys. He made some plays at the end of that game when they put him in the other day. Obviously, it wasn't enough, but I thought that he showed that he's ready to play college football. If I was LSU, I'd just let him take the start here and see what he can do. I think if he were to start, I would like LSU a lot more. But there's just a lot of questions in that game.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. I lean Arkansas +6. Scrolling through the rest, 2:30 SEC game. Real interesting one here. Oklahoma +5.5 at Alabama, 45.5. Look, Oklahoma's defense should be able to keep them in this game. Bama's offense the last 2 weeks didn't play all that well, or last couple games at South Carolina when they won an OT, and then they beat LSU 20-9, but it was pretty ugly. I mean, Bama's they don't have a good running game. They got 3 good receivers, and Ty Simpson's good. I think Oklahoma's defense can keep them in it. I just don't know if Oklahoma could score enough. Mateer's pretty good, but they don't have enough weapons. Their offense isn't explosive. But I still think I might lean Oklahoma in the 5.5 here just because I think this is going to be lower scoring.
I like under 45.5.
Yeah, I do too. I think this game's going to be kind of a slugfest. Here, Chad McMullen, you're asking for a real pick because, I'm going through giving my analysis on the games. Here's my first real pick of the week. I was out at USC. I was off a real tough 18-16 physical loss in the rain to Oregon. Then they got to go out to USC. Dude, USC's been blowing people out at home. These Big Ten cross-country trips. I think this is a spot USC wins by 2 touchdowns. USC -7 is my favorite, maybe my favorite play of the week. Like, if you need one to close something, that's it. The people are asking for it. There you go.
There it is. There you have it. USC -7 to finish off your parlay, Chadwick.
Yep, that's it. NC State at Miami. Miami's 15.5, over under 55.5. Kind of lean over here. I think this one could get kind of wild. NC State's been playing a lot of shootouts this year. Texas Tech's 23.5 at home over Central Florida. They should beat the shit out of them. I actually think they'll cover. Texas Tech at home, they're a war machine, and they're so tough up front. Central Florida don't have a prayer in hell. Georgia Tech -16.5 against a horrible Boston College team on the road. Still don't trust Georgia Tech laying points on the road. Like, their identity, they play close games no matter who they play. I think they'll win, but I don't trust them to blow anybody out. They're just like, they fight as an underdog. They pull games out as a favorite, but I just don't trust them laying the points. Virginia +4 at Duke. Georgia Tech right now in the driver's seat in the ACC. Duke actually in second if they win out. I believe Chandler Morris trying to play this week. I need to check an injury report on him for Virginia, but it looks like he's going, just judging by the line and the over-under. If he goes and is healthy, I could see this one getting kind of wild. Boy, Virginia last week lost at home to Wake, literally just because their backup quarterback was out there. If Morris was out there, they wouldn't have any problem. That's just tough for them. Jake Malasak's heart was broken. Shout out to RMFW, John Summerall on the wave. Tulane with a huge win against Memphis last week on the road. They're 17.5 at home against Florida Atlantic. I think they'll get it done. But Tulane, another team. Don't trust them laying points. They win close and they win ugly a lot. They're one of those teams you just don't want to lay a lot of points with. They win and don't cover a lot. And I could see that happening again here. Memphis +3 at East Carolina. The Memphis thing's hard to gauge because their quarterback, Brandon Lewis, is dealing with that ankle injury, and I'm not sure he can play. This line kind of tells me he might be out. Florida at Ole Miss and Oxford. Ole Miss down to 14. This line's been all over the place all week. It opened at 12.5. It got bet up to 16.5. Now it's all the way down to 14. There's so much shit going on with this game, with this Lane Florida stuff. I don't know. How's that going to affect Ole Miss? Florida, look. I thought this might have happened when I liked Kentucky as a home dog last week. I mean, I think they've quit. They fought hard against Georgia for their interim, Billy Gonzalez, but after they lost that, I was like, man, they're not going to be motivated on the road at Kentucky. They got beat 38-7 by Kentucky. Moody, if you allow 2025 Kentucky to score 38 points, you've done something. I mean, that's been taking them 3 or 4 weeks, the way they've been playing offense. So I think Ole Miss still blows them out. But, man, everything's just so wild with this Lane stuff. It's hard to read. But I liked Ole Miss early in the week. I still lean Ole Miss, though. I just don't think Florida's going to fight that hard. And I think Ole Miss is still playing hard. It's just all this Lane speculation, though. It's just hard to know how that's going to affect everybody. It's a real tough situation. Utah -7.5 at Baylor. Kind of wild. Utah's a full 7.5 here. Baylor's pretty good at home. I don't have a read on this game, to be honest, if you want the honest truth. I actually think Washington covers 16.5 at home against Purdue. Washington's off a horrible loss at Wisconsin last week, and they're pretty good at home, and Purdue sucks, so I think they'll cover. Texas +6.5 at Georgia, Saturday 6:30, monster game here. Moody, I got to give a shout-out. It's widespread panic night at UGA. JB singing the national anthem. They're all on the field being honored. You can't go against Georgia on widespread panic night. You know that. No way. Can't do it.
this was the last game that I wanted to comment on as far as the college football is concerned. Don't rule out Texas in this game. This game means so much to them because if they want to make the college football playoff, they have to get a win here. Texas is going to fight their ass in this game. Forget widespread panic. I don't know that that's going to make much of a difference, but I think Texas fights. I would take Texas plus 6.5 in this game.
Well, the
It's a
game's
huge
last
spot
year.
for them.
Yeah, last year they played that rock fight SEC championship that went to OT, and Georgia won at Texas by like 2 touchdowns, but it was because of the defense. They had defensive touchdowns. No, I could see the. What do you think about under here? I could see under.
Yeah, I mean, if just gauging off the way these teams have looked against each other the last season, I would like under as well. But I like Texas plus 6.5. I said it weeks ago. I felt like Texas was going to build some momentum down the stretch, finally find themselves. I wouldn't say they're as good as I think they can be, but this is a spot for them to prove that they're potentially still a college football playoff contender.
Mississippi State plus 7 at Missouri. I actually think Mississippi State might win. Missouri, that backup quarterback looked so bad last week. I think, and State's been playing hard, even though they got rolled at Georgia. I think they may fight here. I kind of lean them plus 7. I mean, Missouri's known to win some close games too, but I kind of like Mississippi State plus 7 here.
Their starting quarterback has to play because their offense looked awful.
He's supposed to go. I've looked at the injury report. Yep. He's probable, so he's going to play. And then finally, last game, BYU by 3.5 at home over TCU. Look, BYU's off a tough loss. They got their ass beat by Texas Tech in a game we were all over last week, 29-7. But they're tough at home, and TCU's not that physical. And so I think TCU's going to have trouble up there in Provo, Utah. But my favorite game of the week is USC by 7. I think they're going to smoke Iowa. I think it's a bad matchup for Iowa going out west trying to keep up with USC. I just think USC is going to, win by a couple touchdowns.
As we wrap up the college football talk, Wilson, who checked in a little bit late, he says, any worry about Lane to the NFL? I know your main concern is Florida.
I'm worried about Florida, and everybody is. And like I said, I've had 3 phone calls during the show already about Ole Miss fans worried about it. I mean, I'd say the level of Oxford. I said I was on a 1 to a 10. I was a 7 before the show. I think I may be creeping up toward 8 at this point. That's how hot it is with the Lane to Florida stuff. But I don't think he's made it.
Ricci was saying, of course, widespread panic is a factor.
Of course.
We'll see. Of course.
All right, NFL, we got a game in Spain. Boy, the Spanish got to be fired up to watch this Commanders-Dolphins game, huh?
What a banger.
Miami 2.5 and 47.5. Got to give Miami credit, though, last week. What an effort against Buffalo. Whipped their ass. Got to give them credit. Everybody thought they were quitting. They had.
Yeah, I think I kind of like the over in this game, man.
Do you?
I think both defenses are terrible. I know the Commanders have a ton of injuries on the offensive side of the football, not having Jaden Daniels. Both of these defenses suck, though. They're terrible. And Miami's offense looks like it's kind of found itself a little bit post Tyreek Hill injury. I kind of like over 47.5 in this spot. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like Miami looks like an obvious side, and it looks too obvious after
Looks too obvious, but that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to score points, and I think Washington may be able to keep up. Miami's run defense is so terrible, even though they did a good job against Cook last week. I will admit that. They're a bad run defense, and they just lost Quinnen Williams. I think this is actually a spot where Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt could show up and have a good game.
All right. Bears plus 3 at Minnesota, 48.5. The J.J. McCarthy thing, I mean, I kind of bought in after that Detroit game, and I did not look good. He's still I don't – this is a hard one to read.
I just like the over. I like the over. The Bears' defense is terrible.
Yeah,
they're playing good offensively, but they got some things to figure out defensively. This is actually one of my favorite games of the week, I think, as far as the totals are concerned. I like Vikings-Bears over 48.5. There's going to be weather elsewhere in the country. They'll be in the dome up there. I like this game to go over 48.5. I think both offenses play well. And I'll tell you what, I think Aaron Jones plays a big factor in this one.
Green Bay by 7 at the Giants. Jameis Winston's back, the national treasure. Do we like the over because Jameis is playing?
No. If I think if the Giants were playing if they were playing anyone besides the Eagles or the Packers, I would think that Jameis is going to go out and give a vintage Jameis Winston performance. I just think the Packers defense is too good. I think they're going to get after him in this game. There's not enough weapons on the outside to make things happen. They have no run game. Packers defense dominates.
Tampa Bay plus 6 at Buffalo. Buffalo over under 47.5. feels like a bounce back spot for Buffalo. They got up for that Chiefs
Yes.
game 2 weeks ago. They got trapped in Miami, which has definitely done that to people through the years. You see Miami pull some home stuff. Feels like a Buffalo bounce back. Tampa's also got a lot of guys out still. Bucky's still out. Obviously Mike Evans is out a while. I don't know. It feels like Tampa's going through a little bit of a rough stretch here to me.
And it's going to be cold up there. You're coming from Tampa. I couldn't like Buffalo more in this game. It's forget about the last couple weeks. I know the Miami game, like, it's going to stick in a lot of people's minds. This is the perfect spot to get Buffalo. Love them in this spot.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing to watch too. Tampa's had such a good run D through the years, but man, they've gotten gashed by Gibbs and Travion the last couple of weeks, and that's the first time I've seen that. Tampa usually has a bad pass D and a good run D. I mean, Cook could have a game here. Houston, Texas by 6 at Tennessee, 37.5. Do we know if Davis Mills or Stroud's going yet? I feel like
Davis Mills, C.J. Stroud is officially out once again with a concussion. It'll be Davis Mills again, who, to his credit, played decent last week.
I like the under. I'll just go ahead and say it. I know last week, especially off that 30-29 game, but I think 37 on the road, Nashville, not on turf. I feel like this one's going to be pretty ugly.
Yeah, I just like Woody Marks in this game. There's nothing else that I even care about, to be honest with you. This is a game that's not on my radar for Sunday.
Cincinnati plus 5.5 at Pittsburgh, 49.5. Can the Bengals do it again on them?
It's going to be a shootout. It's going to take another sensational effort from Joe Flacco. Again, two bad defenses. The Bengals have the worst defense in the NFL. I love Rodgers was my DFS play this week. I think this is another shootout. Jamar Chase balled on them the last time. That game was in Cincinnati, though. This one in Pittsburgh. I give Pittsburgh the edge in this one, but I do think it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
I like T. Higgins props. He always cooks the Steelers. I've been riding that for 5 years, and no reason to jump off now in that game. Chargers by 3 at Jacksonville, 43.5. Jacksonville's so weird, dude. I can't figure them out.
Weird.
I mean, they are a weird team, man. You got any thoughts?
I don't want
here?
anything to do with this game personally. Because
either.
we don't know what we're getting. There's a lot of injuries on the Chargers side. Their offensive line looks absolutely awful.
As bad as
Brian Thomas limited in practice yesterday. Is he going to play? Jacoby Myers still learning the offense. There's a lot of questions on both sides. So this is one of the games I don't want to touch on Sunday.
All right. I gotta sort of think Jacksonville, if anybody, but I don't know if I can do it. Carolina plus 3.5 at Atlanta, 42.5. This Atlanta team, man, I know they're frustrated because their kicking's cost them so many games, but they're 3-6. They're not that bad.
No, but they played one of their worst games of the season against Carolina, though.
Oh, their worst game. They got blown out 30-0.
Yeah. Well, they've looked bad a couple times, but definitely that one.
Yeah. Man, you got any read here?
I can't see Carolina shutting down Bijan 2 times in a row. Now Atlanta's back at home. I don't know. I would lean Falcons, but I don't love it.
All right, Niners by 3 at Arizona, 48.5. I feel like the Niners will win this game. Arizona, Jacoby Brissett going on, and Marvin Harrison's out. The Niners 6-4. I know they're banged up, but they're just a professional team under Shanahan, and these are the kind of games they win and take care of business, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jacoby Brissett has played well, but he's going to have to go out there and do it without Marvin Harrison. I think Trey McBride has a big game. Look at Michael Wilson to absorb a lot of those targets that Marvin Harrison is leaving out there. So, if you're looking at it from a prop standpoint, I do think Michael Wilson will be someone to look at on Sunday.
All right, there you go. Ravens by 7.5 at Cleveland, 38.5. Man, this one, here's the thing. It's I don't want to lay the points on the road in division game, but Baltimore's got it humming right now, man. I don't want to go against them.
And the Browns, their offense is just so bad. The complete polar opposite of their defense. They got a great defense. I love what they're doing defensively, but that offense, Dylan Gabriel's not it. And I don't know if you put Shadur in there if it gets any better. I like Quinshon Judkins, but can you really run the ball against a Baltimore offense that's probably going to score points in this game? I just think if Baltimore gets ahead early, they're going to blow this thing out. The Browns have to play elite defense in the first half. They got to run the football, have to keep it competitive in order to keep Judkins a part of the game. I don't think they can do that because of Dylan Gabriel. So I like Baltimore. It's not one of my favorites this week, but it's just tough to like the Browns, man. I've watched a lot of them. I bet them against the Pats. They've won me some money this year in the spots that they've been good, but outside of that, they've been terrible.
All right. Now we're going to hit the three marquee games. First up, Seattle at the Rams. Rams by 3, 48.5. This thing opened at 2.5 this week. Now it's 3. I thought it should be 3. Just awesome football game here. And what a, Moody, you and I have been leading the Rams bandwagon all year. We're both on them to win the Super Bowl from preseason. Seattle didn't see this coming, and this is their chance to show they're elite. This is it. They've been dominating. They've been crushed the Commanders and Cardinals last 2 weeks. They got 2 losses. They've been really good on the road. They go and win this game, they're a Super Bowl contender. Will they do it? I still think the Rams pull it out.
I still like the Rams. Seattle's going to have to prove me wrong. Go prove me wrong, Seattle. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team, though. I think the Rams are a great team. They can beat you in every way imaginable. They got a great defense. They have a run game with Kyron. Obviously, the passing game has been humming with Matthew Stafford. Probably the best competitor outside of Mahomes in the entire NFL. I'm not shying away from taking the Rams. I've been on them pretty much every week, taking them again.
All right. KC minus 3.5 at Denver. Huge one here. Denver's 8-2 and KC's 5-4. Denver wins this game. KC's they're out of this West race because they got the Chargers only 3 losses too. But Andy Reid off a bye. We all know what that means. Denver's been winning ugly, but they've been winning, and that's part of the Sean Payton thing. Over under 44.5. What you think about this one?
I love Kansas City here. The Broncos haven't showed me enough. I love Sean Payton. I think he's a great coach. They're barely beating bad teams. Their first half offense has been atrocious the entire season. I know they've been elite in the fourth quarter, but they cannot fall behind Kansas City in this game. I think Kansas City is more complete than Denver is, and this is a huge game for Kansas City. Win this game, you're suddenly just one back in the division. My only concern is Kansas City's been awful on the road so far this season, 1-3. That's my only concern, but they've got Rashee Rice back. I like Kansas City. At 3.5 doesn't scare me. I'll still take that with the Chiefs.
Do you I sort of think under, just because of what you said about Denver's offense.
I could see that. Now, Kansas City's got an elite defense. Denver's got an elite defense. The problem is, man, Mahomes, they've been cooking a little bit offensively. So going against that Chiefs offense, the way they've played as of late, scares me. But I can see it.
Detroit Lions Sunday night. What a great one! And actually, I'll wait till tomorrow to mention it. Detroit plus 2.5 at Philly, 46.5. Really good Sunday night game.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this one.
I kind of lean Detroit.
Yeah. I know the sharps are on Philly. I was looking at it earlier. They're pretty heavy on Philly. It's just a weird spot. The Eagles' offense has not looked great. Obviously, their defense looked tremendous against a struggling Packers offense in primetime last week. But this is a weird spot for sure. I think the Lions will be competitive. I don't know that I can go with the Lions here because that Philly defense is so good. But it's one of the best games of the week, no doubt.
I got to check. I always wait to check weather reports, and I want to see some decent. Like if it's bad weather, I don't like that for Detroit. But great slate of games this week, especially the Rams, Seahawks, Chiefs, Broncos, and Lions, Eagles. Once again, want to mention 5 o'clock Central. We get the final of the Internet Invitational. Going to be going here in a minute, and there's I believe a Jets Pat stream up here at Barstool tonight too. A little Thursday night, and also Saturday. Barstool College Football Show, 8 a.m. by Murphy's out by Wrigley Field. Moody, football at Wrigley Field, Michigan Northwestern on Saturday. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. One of the most storied stadiums in the entire country, maybe the most storied, ballpark in the whole country. So that's pretty cool for them to have football out there. Obviously not a marquee game, but still cool stuff. And also going back to the Internet Invitational, it has been incredible. Again, I don't consume a ton of content. That's not really my thing. I love that they have Nate Shot on there. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. He's my favorite streamer, someone that I do watch. And he has just been, him and PFT together have been money. By far my favorites. Love Nate Shot so much. And I think the whole thing's been great.
Yeah, no, I know Dave said on a name I don't know anyone that would spoil a big Barstool event like this, but I don't have a clue who's going to win it because they did a good job keeping it silent from everyone.
They definitely didn't tell you anything.
No, but I know Dave said the finale stuff's great, so I believe it. Yeah. So check that out at 5. Like I said, Barstool College Football Show live 8 o'clock Saturday morning from Wrigley Field. A couple things for me this weekend. I'm pumped. Going to a really good show tomorrow night, Moody, at the Ramava Theater. Galactic from NOLA and New Master Sounds. Mm-hmm. New Master Sounds are from England, but I always used to see them the late night Jazz Fest shows. This is their final North American tour ever. So last time I'm gonna get to see them, so I'm gonna go check that out. And then I'm playing World Series of Poker Chicago main event Saturday at Grand Victoria at Elgin. So my buddy Bearbuck, Jared, is gonna be up here staying with me from Louisiana. We're gonna go play. So first poker tournament for me in a couple months. So I'm excited to play Saturday. So good little weekend up here. Hate to miss Florida Ole Miss, but you can't.
Yeah, you can. It'll be on the TV in there. You'll be able to catch it on the TV. I'm sure. I'm gonna play some poker this weekend as well. I'm gonna get in a little cash game Friday and Saturday night. I got, I'm more of a cash player than a tournament player, so I've already told myself I'm going to play some poker this weekend as well. So I'll be there with you in spirit.
Are you doing any of the Louisiana high school playoff games?
They contacted me the other day. I have so much going on with the fight stuff now. I don't necessarily need to. You know what I mean? Our fights. Shout out to AKA American Combat Alliance. Things are going incredibly well. One of the premier mixed martial arts organizations in the country right now. Certainly number one in Louisiana, and one of the top two in the South. Things are going great there, and so I don't necessarily need to do high school football, and for that reason, I'm probably not going to do high school football. But VSN did contact me to do some Calvary games.
Cool. Well, like I said, tune into the Invitational in 20 minutes at 5. It should be awesome, and let's have a hell of a weekend. Join Barstool College Football Show Saturday, and hopefully I get hot. Let's get hot at the poker tables this weekend, Moody. Let's make some freaking money.
I'm planning on going and kicking their ass this weekend. I'm feeling good. I'm gonna hit some bets, win some cash playing poker. Let's have a weekend, boys.
All right, let's do it. Thanks, Tyler Moody. Shout out, Chad, as always. We're going to get out of here, and y'all have a weekend.